The last time we spoke, it was about ways to declutter. Today, we're going to talk about decision fatigue and how to cut down. So, decision fatigue is a phenomenon where the more decisions you make, the worse your decision making abilities become. So, in the beginning, you might make decisions based on reason, on using logic, based on what's your priorities. The more and more decisions you make during the day, the more you give up those types of things and start to make decisions based on impulse or whatever is easiest, even if it's ultimately not such a good decision. That's decision fatigue. And that's why they put all of those little candy and items at the end of the shopping line when you're waiting to check out, because after making decisions about what you're going to buy and comparing products, you get to the end and you're more likely to make that impulse buy and pick up the candy bar or the magazine or things like that. So we can't necessarily get rid of all the decisions we have to make in work, in life, but by keeping that in mind, then we can kind of see what we can do to cut down on those decisions so that you're making decisions based on your actual choices and preferences and not just on what's the easiest. So one way to do this is to do things like prep your meals ahead of time. Plan out what your meal is going to be for the week, or what your meals are going to be for the week. Maybe do your shopping all at once. Maybe when you have time on the weekends, you prep certain things or cut different items so that when it comes to the end of the day and you're just tired of making decisions, you already have a plan in mind and you don't have to decide what to do for dinner. And that helps you to not just say, oh, I'm going to order out, I'm going to have cereal. I'm going to make a fast decision about dinner as opposed to a good decision about dinner. Another way you can cut down on decision fatigue is to do things like picking your clothes out beforehand. So maybe you can lay out several outfits that you would pick or that you would wear beforehand, or limit your clothing options to a much smaller amount and say, okay, well, this week I'm just going to choose from these items and figure out what matches them based on the weather. That way, when you go into your closet in the morning, you're not having to decide every piece of clothing, every item. You might even do something like say, okay, I have these 5 outfits or these 5 meals picked that I could have during the week, and I'm just going to number them 1 through 5, 1 through 6. And then when it comes to that morning or that evening, you roll the dice and say, okay, well, a dice rolled number 3. I guess my number 3 outfit or my number 3 meal is this. I don't have to decide about it. Another way you can cut down on your decisions is by going with your gut. So when somebody asks you, so do you want to sign up for this bake, sale, or are you willing to go to this meeting? Go with your gut and be honest about whether you really are going to go or you're not going to go. Oftentimes people will say yes when their gut really tells them, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm going to be too tired to do that. And then you have to decide at the end of the day, oh, am I going to tell that person no when I already told them yes? It's much easier to be honest with yourself, go with your gut, say yes if you mean yes, and really just say no if you're going to mean no. The final thing we're going to talk about today that you can do is to delegate. If there's certain decisions that you don't have to make, delegate it to somebody else. Let somebody else pick out what you're going to have for dinner. Let someone else pick out or make different decisions about what's going to happen to the day or the order of different things. That way you don't have to be making those decisions and it doesn't feel like the burden on you. So those are just some ways that you can cut down on the decision fatigue. Next time, we're going to talk about gratitude and making sure you consider your successes.